So let me tell you about the time I tried to kill myself. It was October 25th, 2005. Now, the only reason that date sticks out in my head is because that's my oldest son's birthday. Now, at the time, his mother was going into labor in Arizona, and I lived in California. I was really deep into alcoholism. I was not a good person, and I was living with her in Arizona at the time. She finally got fed up with my shit and booted me, like 3 months in or whatever, to the pregnancy. And so I ended up taking my sorry ass back to California. Now, she'd come to California a couple times because her friend wanted to visit my friend, so on and so forth. What had happened was, I get a phone call or a text, or it might have even been an email back then, that she had gone into labor. And I had just lost a job. So the people I was staying with at the time, their answer to most of like life's problems was alcohol. And so they had gotten me a gallon of Captain Morgan spiced rum, and when I got home, they were like, hey, so check this out. We get that, like, you know, you had just lost your job, and that sucks. So here's what we're gonna do. Here's some rum. Do with it what you will. Take like 3-4 days, just completely decompress, do all that, and then, you know, once you do that, get right back up on the horse and get out there and get yourself a job. And I'm like, all right, cool, thanks. So they had gone out, and I'd started drinking. I got about halfway through this bottle when I got that, I want to say it was an email now that I think of it. So I see the email, go out, have a couple more drinks, and I'm I pour one, because I'm drinking rum and Sprite. And so I pour one last one, lift it up, and say, son, I love you, welcome to the world, and goodbye. Drink it, put it down, go into the back bedroom. There's a shotgun back there. And so I sit down, I grab the gun, I rack a round into the chamber, and I put it in my mouth. I pulled the trigger. Nothing. Pulled the trigger again. Nothing. Pulled the trigger a third time. Nothing. Tore that fucking gun apart, trying to figure out what was going on with it. Grabbed the shell. Primer's bad. I sat there and thought to myself, Jesus Christ, I can't even fucking kill myself. That's how pathetic I am. Because I was just so in a fucking spiral of self-destruction and everything else that I didn't give a fuck anymore. I was either gonna take myself out or someone was gonna take me out. But so it didn't go off. And like I said, I sat there and I started crying when I said I couldn't even kill myself properly, because that's how I felt. Like I was that big of a fuck up that I couldn't even do that right. So some people, you know, they say, oh, well, there's a reason that it didn't go off. There's this, I don't know if you want to call it divine intervention, whatever you want to call it, but here I am. My oldest son will be 20 this year in October. He doesn't know me. His mother has made sure that I've never talked to, you know, anything like that. Not to mention they live in a different state, and I live in a totally different state from California now. I have a younger son. He just turned 17 2 days ago. And then I have a daughter who turns 14. What most conventional people call my stepdaughter, I just call her my daughter. I've been raising her since she was 6 months old because her biological father decided that drugs were more important, so he left her and her mom, who is my current wife. I have 2 boys with 2 different women. Yeah, you can call me a shitbag, whatever you want to. Anyway, I'm completely going off the other end of this. So I sat and I wanted to die. And I've had, for the longest time, a lot of self-destructive behavior. And I figured if I couldn't fucking pull the trigger and kill myself that way, might as well attempt to drink myself to death. So, you know, there goes a, let's see, what was I think I was 22, 23 when he was born. So from there up until the age of 42. So you're talking a good 20 years of just not giving a fuck. And when I say not giving a fuck, I mean sitting down, and I would, if I really put my mind to it, I would go through a 30-pack of beer in a fucking night. Just liquor, the whole fucking 9 yards. Anyway, I say all that because I've told stories like this on TikTok. I've edited them down a little bit so I don't get in trouble. But I've always said for people, to tell their story. So I finally decided to tell mine. In front of a bunch of strangers on the internet. I don't know how many people are going to see this. I know how many people saw that one. There was like 26,000 views or something on it. Not like viral levels, but still. I just felt it was time for me to tell my story so people understand, like people can hear that they're not alone, and that at some point you're not getting shit on constantly. It does get better. It just takes a little bit of time. Everybody says it's a bad day, not a bad life. Just like it's a bad, I could say it the other way. It's a bad moment, not a bad life. But for the longest time, I didn't want to do that. And I've finally gotten myself around with the help of a good woman and some, self-reflection. Because I'm 98 days sober now. So that gives you a lot of time to look at yourself and get reacquainted with who you really are, not who you are when you're drunk, when you're intoxicated. So if you're seeing this, just trust me, you're not alone. You're not alone. You can call or text 988. There is a suicide prevention hotline. There are so many avenues to talk to an anonymous person if you feel the people that are close to you don't care. If you feel that you are alone, call those numbers. Someone will answer. They will listen to you cry, scream, whatever, just to let you get it out so you don't do something irrational. I used to think that suicide was the coward's way out. I now look at it as a person deciding to not burden everyone else in their life with their problems, so they feel that is the only solution. That is not the solution. There are other ways to solve this without taking yourself out of the equation. Please, don't make a permanent decision for a momentary problem. Seek someone to talk to. Get help. I promise you, in the long run, it does get better. I've told my story. Now it's time for you to tell yours.